Hi everybody, I'm now going to demonstrate this app called HeartTrack, which we are developing for iOS users to be able to measure the impact of their atrial fibrillation, but also hopefully make better treatment decisions. So, first few pages of the app are quite standard. It collects information about people's AF history and also whether they have had any treatments for their AF already. So commonly this can either be an AF ablation or a previous cardioversion. And so you input whether you've had either of these, and then you have to also insert what dates you had these treatments, because that is important for us to help measure how the treatments have changed people's quality of life over time. So let's say we fit these two dates, and often patients have had a cardioversion before their ablation, and then we input them in. What the HeartTrack app then does is it connects the data that you have put in these ways with the Apple Health data that is stored on the individual's phone, and it compares how different measures of activity have changed over time. And so in this example here, you'll see how an individual's step count before versus after the ablation has changed. And so interestingly, over this period, in the red, you see how an individual's step count was before the ablation date and how it was afterwards. And you can then see whether that difference was statistically significant because it does that analysis in the background. Now, we've used step count here for simplicity's sake, but you could use estimated VO2 max, number of workouts, really any data point that Apple Health collects. The bottom half of this page also presents clinical data, which is important when making treatment decisions if the AF comes back after treatment. It tells you when it came back, how much of it's come back, and importantly, what the impact of that AF coming back has been on your activity. So here on my data, there's no significant number of AF events, but for individuals who do have lots of AF after a procedure, it can show you how your activity was on the days when you had AF versus days when you did not. And of course, a significant reduction in your activity during AF can help push you forwards for further treatment decisions. Now, one final feature which we're still also in the process of developing is this ECG calendar. And again, for patients who use their Apple Watch religiously to collect their heart rhythm data over time, these calendar pages would be colored according to a traffic light system. So green if there was no AF on that day, and red if there was, orange if inconclusive. Now, the interesting component is all the data here will help a user visualize how their AF burden has changed over time, or also if there are any patterns such as weekends or different events that really drive that AF burden. But you can also click on any specific date and see the underlying ECGs and their metadata behind it. Now, the reason this is useful for us is because you can then access the raw waveform and look at the signal underneath that ECG recording. And this is what we hope to use to personalize AF care by looking for patterns and features in this. So hopefully more work to come on this in the future. Anyway, that's just an update on where we're up to. And if you do have any feedback or thoughts, please do jot them down in the comments.